So far, we have discussed the autotrophic mode of nutrition in plants. Now, let's read about other modes of nutrition in plants that are categorized under heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Some plants depend on other plant or animal for their food. They lack chlorophyll. As we have already learned that plants require chlorophyll for preparing their food. If it has not chlorophyll, then how would it prepare food? Now, parasitic plants. Plants which take nutrients from another living plants are called parasite. The plant on which parasite lives and nourishes is called host. The parasite does not contain chlorophyll. That's why it is not able to prepare its food on its own, and it's completely dependent on other organism or other plant for its food. The example of parasite is Cuscuta amarbale. In this figure, there's a yellow wiry branched structure hanging around the stem or branch of a tree. This is Cuscuta. It does not have chlorophyll, so it cannot make its food. That's why it is completely dependent on the plant for its nutrition. The plant on which it climbs is called as host and Cuscuta is called parasite. The next is insectivorous plants. Leaves are modified into structures that help to trap insects. The example of insectivorous plant is pitcher plant. In pitcher plant, the leaves is modified into pitcher or a jug-like structure. As you can see in the diagram, the leaves is in the form of jug-like structure and the leaf has a lid which can open or close the mouth of pitcher. This is the lid. This open or closes. When the insect enters the pitcher, this lid is closed and the insect is trapped. We human beings have digestive enzymes to digest various foodstuffs. Similarly, in this pitcher plant, the digestive juice is also secreted in this pitcher, which kills the insect and the nutrients are absorbed. This is the insect eating plant, that's why it is called as insectivorous plant. But there is an interesting fact that this plant is green in color. This contains chlorophyll. It can prepare its food on its own. There is an alternative method of trapping the insect. So it has two modes of nutrition. It can prepare its food on its own, and on the other hand, it traps insect and eats it. Now the next is saprotrophs. Organisms which obtain their food from dead and decaying matter are called as saprotrophs, and the mode of nutrition is called as saprotrophic nutrition. The example of saprotrophs is fungi, and the example of fungi is mushroom. We have noticed that the umbrella-like structure grows on the rotten wood in moist areas, that is a mushroom. So the fungi is dependent on the dead and decaying matter. It feeds on the decaying matter to survive, to grow. You sometimes may have noticed that the stale bread contains some green patchy like structure. This is the fungi growth on it. There's another example. If you notice an orange, there's a green structure spread on it when you will notice after some time, some days. So this green structure is fungi. Fungi prefer warm and moist places to grow. It is found in air, water, soil, on animals and plants. The fungal spores is always present in air, and when they land on wet or warm things, they spread rapidly. And the next is symbiosis. Symbiosis is an association between two or more species where both are mutually benefited. In symbiosis, both the species get benefited from each other. The example of symbiosis is certain fungi live inside the roots of plants. The plants provide nutrients to the fungus, and in return, the fungus provides water and certain nutrients. Here we can see that both the fungus and the plants get benefited from each other in some other way. There's another example of symbiosis is lichens. The lichen contains both algae and fungus. The algae is the chlorophyll containing partner, and the fungus provides shelter, water, minerals to the algae, and in return the algae prepares food for the fungus. As the algae contains chlorophyll, it can prepare its food on its own, and it gives the food to the fungus. You might have noticed an interesting example of symbiotic relationship, that is the buffalo or cow and the crow sitting on the body of the cow. Here in this figure, the buffalo and the crows get benefited mutually. How? Let's see. The buffalo body contains some insects like ants, ticks, and these crows feed on these insects. They get nutrients from the body, and in return the body of the buffalo get cleaned by these birds. So in this way they both get benefited from each other. Now the last topic of the chapter is how nutrients are replenished in the soil. Here replenished means to fill up. When the plants use the nutrients from the soil, then how get its fill up again and again? We all have heard about the fertilizer and manures. These fertilizer manures have the nutrients like nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, etc. These nutrients are absorbed by the roots of the plants, but the nitrogen is present in the atmosphere in abundant form. But the plants cannot use this nitrogen directly from the atmosphere. This bacterium called as rhizobium. This bacteria fixes atmospheric nitrogen into the usable form so that the plants take this form of nitrogen and provide nutrition to its parts. Here we can see the bacterium and plant both show symbiotic relationship. The rhizobium bacterium is present in the root of the plant. This bacterium provides nitrogen to the plant in the usable form, and in return the plant provide food and shelter to the bacteria. That's all for the chapter. Hope you enjoyed the chapter. Thank you.